Hello guys, you're welcome to my channel. If this is your first time here, please make sure that you like, subscribe, and turn on that notification bell. Yes, the three things I was trying to remember. So today I will be sharing a story that is sort of like important to me, and I'm hoping could motivate some other people out there. It's the story of how I got into tech at such a young age and what kept me going and what brought me here. I mean, basically, my dad brought Windows and he brought it into the house, and he didn't bring it for me. So basically, he brought it for my older brothers because he's like, okay, they were older, they were already like in secondary school and stuff. Me, I was still in early primary school, like maybe primary 2 or something, or primary 3. Yeah, I think primary 2, whatever. So, because my brothers are like, older than me and stuff, they gave me gaps more. So he bought it for them, right? And they were using it, but me, Aproko International, I'll just always go there like, what are you guys doing? What's this? How does this work? Oh my gosh, this is so amazing. And then over time, I really started liking it. I remember I was on everything. I had MySpace, I had High Five, I had Yahoo Messenger. I don't even know what I was doing there because mostly I was only talking to my brothers there because I didn't have any friends. There was also the side of me that used to play games a lot, and then there was also the side of me that used to use like Microsoft Office a lot. So like the beginning of movies, the screenplay part, I think that's what it's called. I used to create that kind of thing in PowerPoint, right? And I was gonna show everybody like, oh, you guys see. And then the first time I was doing like a typing competition with my brother, like who can type faster. So I typed like a composition. It was called composition in primary school. People should not disturb me. Like an essay or whatever. A description of myself, and what I like, what I don't like, and everything. And then I typed it and then I printed it. It's still framed somewhere in my dad's room, by the way, or laminated. I don't even know. He kept a copy of that when we printed it, but it was like a page long. He said, "My name is Nene AdoraHack. I am blah 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 years old." The computers here, I just used to tell because there were some things on the computer that didn't work for me that maybe I felt should be finer, or I wanted like this whole page to be pink. Why is it not pink? So I used to tell my mommy that one day I'm going to work in Windows because I want to help them and change this thing, and I'll just make my own pink. Everybody else can still be using grey or blue. Is their problem. I used to say all these things jokingly because like, what do I know? I was like 6 years old now. I just said I want to work in Windows so that I can help them change it to pink. I'm the one on my own computer with pink. Everybody's own can be blue. That's their problem. And then growing up, that was basically early primary school. Sorry, towards the end of primary school, I was like already coding. I started using I think it's Visual Basic. I was already using it to write like funny code and all of that stuff. And I'll just do maybe something really small, probably very ugly GUI, by the way, but I'll be impressed with it and I'll show everybody. So these few things, I was still a child at the time. I wasn't even up to 10 years old yet. So these few things made me like computers, made me like all these things, got me into the space where I'm like, okay, I don't know what I want to do with my life because I didn't know anything about computer science, software engineering, anything like that. I was still in primary school. Whatever I'm going to do in my life is going to make me sit in front of a computer and build stuff. That's just what I knew at that point. So entering into secondary school, all the actions I made from that point were like deliberate actions, Used to take all these extra computer classes. We had in my secondary school, we had a computer pioneers thing. So we had like the British curriculum and then we had like the normal WAEC English one. So because of that, we had this for our computer. For our ICT, I think it was different. We were following I think this computer pioneers program or something like that. So I used to take it seriously at the time. I don't think so in the computer pioneers part, we only did like the basic stuff, using Microsoft Office and then getting to do basic HTML and CSS. But in the part of the book, there was programming, there was Visual Basic, and I already sort of did it before when I was like smaller. So in the book, it was there, and I'm just like, okay, this thing is still there. I'm going to do it again. I'm going to follow the book. Exposing myself to different things. Like, people in my school at the time would attribute me to computers. So it was like it was becoming my thing. And at that point, I was already exposed to what computer science was. I knew what it was. But a part of me wanted to study mathematics and learn to code, because I was also in love with math. And my elder brother had a friend that was currently in MIT at the time, and he's like, yo, sis, you already are here, right? Just enter the computer science lesson. Like, there's no need for all of that extra stuff. Like, I knew programming languages already. I knew Java. I knew because the only one I had like actively used before I got into university was the Visual Basic that I was currently doing, and then front end for the web, HTML and CSS. Let's just build a basic web page. I was already doing those things. That was all I was doing in secondary school. But I knew programming languages. I knew of C, I knew of C++, I knew of C#, and I knew of Java. At that time, I was still trying to understand the difference between C# and C++ and C, because I'm like, why do all these programming languages have C in front of them? Like, just why? So the first one that I got exposed to in uni was actually, I had started, like, I had done VB.NET in the past, right? The first one I was exposed to in uni was Java, because I didn't really understand the way the whole Java GUI thing worked. It didn't seem so easy for me. It didn't seem so straightforward. So it wasn't working. So I was just crying. And it was funny. But then after that episode, I'm like, nah, that I'm actually going to take this coding thing for real, because I can't be like, this is what I want to do with my life, and a very basic assignment like this actually makes me cry. So I decided that, okay, I'm going to learn. Then I spoke to a few people, and then I found out that there was a C# elective course. I'm like, okay, I'm going to take this course. I mean, what am I doing? So I started taking the course. I liked it. I really loved it. Right? And then it sort of opened my mind to object-oriented programming. C# exposed me to like unit testing as well, among some other things. And then I'm like, okay, C# is actually pretty good. So I started liking it at that point, and it made me really start liking programming. So I'm like, great. Let me actually, since I've heard that C# and Java are quite similar. So I mean, why not give it a shot again? So I went back to Java, and I'm like, I told my friend that I'm using some books to learn Java, and he's like, great, you can learn Java and then you can learn Android. So I'm like, okay, because I mean, you're going to use Java for Android anyway, you can as well just use your Java knowledge somewhere that makes sense. So I'm like, okay, that sounds like a good idea. And then I got into that, started liking it as well. We did web programming, we did other programming languages, and I like started building things on my own, trying to learn further and stuff like that. And then from like my 4th year, because computer science is 5 years in Unilab, yeah? So from like my 4th year, I'm like, okay, so I have to start planning my life post Unilag. I know that I want to code, but I'm not going to be coding in my house. I mean, they're freelancers, but I didn't want to be one. So I'm looking at places to work. And at that time, I realized, by the way, that Windows was not Windows. Windows was Microsoft. I already had sense to know that this company is not called Windows. I wasn't a kid anymore, right? So I was looking at places that I would have really loved to work. And I still wanted to work on Microsoft, but I didn't think I was ready, because, I mean, I knew that there was a Microsoft Nigeria, but like, there was no Microsoft Nigeria engineering, and that was a big deal for me. I didn't think I would be the person to up and leave the country when I was young, right? So I'd always wanted to work there, but it's fine, maybe not right now. So I did my 6 months internship thing that you do IT for 6 months, and you come back to school and you continue, come to final year, and then that's it. So when I finished the IT, I mean, I did it in a digital agency. I really liked it there. I liked the people, and everything was just fun. And it was helping me actually put my skills to good use. So I'm like, I don't want to stop doing this thing. Oh. Is there a chance that once I'm done with this internship and I go back to school, I can still be on your internship program, right? And then they're like, okay, that's fine. I mean, we like you anyway. So basically, a 6 months internship became a 2-year internship because I did it throughout year 4 and I did it throughout my final year as well. So I finished final year, graduated, and then they're like, oh, come work for us. So I came in full time to do, like, I was like a full-time employee there now. And then I worked there for like my first year. But then I already had plans. Yeah, I had plans for like my life in general. I'm like, okay, I was working there and I was doing NYSC. So I'm like, after this my NYSC, what are my plans? What's my next step? You've been saying that you've always wanted to work in all these big tech companies, but all of them are in the abroad. You're in the Lagos, and I had no plans of moving. Right? I didn't want to be that person. At least I felt like I wasn't ready yet. So I'm like, oh God, even if I really want to work in. And another thing that really got to me was, I remember there was a time. So my friends got jobs at Microsoft. 2 of my friends, they got jobs. They're actually supposed to come to Redmond, but I don't know, something shall happen, blah, blah, blah. They ended up in Vancouver. So they're in the Vancouver office. And 2 of my friends, I'm not going to name names. So it was like a graduate hire kind of thing. And I was really sad because I'm like, how did you guys hear of this opportunity? And they're like, oh, so they came to school and they spoke to us. I'm like, wow. So people didn't think I was supposed to tell your guy. I thought I was your guy. So it really broke my heart. And then by the time I got a link to like apply for this role, like it was closed, and then I was just really heartbroken. But I was like, I didn't want to move anyway, so this is fine. And I did another interview which I failed for a different company because I remember the day I was doing it, I was really nervous. I was really nervous. So I failed, like I completely failed this interview. And then I told myself that I'm going to take these failures, I'm going to see all the things that I did wrong, and I'm going to work on them so that when the job that I actually want comes to me, I won't make these silly mistakes again and I won't feel bad. So I already started making plans for myself because I had like written down a list of Nigerian companies that I would have loved, to work with, to work in, whatever. And I already had this list. And then I was sort of working towards this list. And then sometime, well, not actively, but like I just had it at the back of my mind that, okay, this was early 2018. So I started working full-time for these people, for the agency in January 2018, and my NYSC was supposed to be for July 2018, but as of May, like around the time where my graduation from Unilag was, because I mean we had written exams December 2017, we're done, but convocation wasn't till May, right? So it was around May that my dad, that's all he does, just pops the question, what are your plans? And then I had to like start thinking of all these things, and then I was telling him. So I had all these plans, like I had a list of companies that I wanted to work with, at least in Nigeria, till I was ready to move abroad and get my dream job, right? So I had a list of all these companies, and I'm like, okay, towards the end of NYSC, maybe like December or January or February next year, I would start working actively towards getting jobs at these places. So I was just doing my NYSC. But the thing about me is, or rather, I was just working, yeah? But the thing about me is, I like to see growth in myself in all areas in my life. And then I noticed that wasn't really happening for me. I just felt like I was doing the same thing like over and over and over again all the time. Like, you get now, like I wanted to do a bunch of things and I wasn't really doing them. I wasn't sharp. And I just felt like, I wasn't learning. So I needed to like actively do something. So I'm like, okay, I decided that I was just going to write. I mean, if anybody reads it, it's great. But I'm not going to try to actively be a community person, because I just felt like for some weird reason nobody was ever going to accept me or anything like that. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to create my own thing. I'm going to independently try and build my own brand, and I'm going to just do my own thing. If it works out, great. If it doesn't, at least I tried. Regardless, the main goal for this is because I said I'm not learning, right? I want to learn. So when I learn a new, I'm going to try and make a pact with myself that I'm going to try and learn a new thing. Right? And I'm going to try and write about it when I do. I mean, I'm not going to be able to write every day, but as much as I can. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to write, and I'm going to have this YouTube channel, and it's just going to be different media for me, different mediums, media. I don't know, English is complicated. Different avenues for me to share information, share my learnings, share my journey, share these things. Either I'm sharing it to myself, it might be useful to me in the next 3 months, or someone else is reading or someone else is watching. Either way, I'm going to put it out there regardless. And then I created my website, created my blog, then created this YouTube channel. This YouTube channel was actually created in October 2018. But I was so scared. Like, okay, I've created the YouTube channel. I didn't have the balls to put anything on it, because I'm like, what if it's trash? I already started with like my trash phone and everything. But I mean, it's like one step at a time, right? We thank God for growth, by the way. So, but I'm jumping. So let me back up a bit. So I started like the whole, okay, I'm going to start writing and I'm going to start doing. So I started, right? Things that I was learning about Android or about Laravel or about testing, I was writing there initially. Vue.js as well, I was writing there. It was making sense to me. I was liking it. Not too many people were reading it, but I didn't care. I just really liked the fact that I was doing something and I felt like there was hope. And I remember one of my bosses at the time, I'm not going to mention his name, one of my bosses at the time told me that I might not eventually see what I'm doing now, and that's fine, but I should keep doing it because it will make sense later. And then I was doing all these things, right? And then my brother is like, why don't you try speaking? And I'm like, me, me, you want me to die? So he's like, just do it. I mean, you're already doing all these things, you might as well just do another one. So he's like, he's like, you are thinking about speaking on large scale is why you're getting scared. I mean, try all this small, he called them support groups or gatherings. He's not in tech, and that's fine. So try all these small support groups, these small gatherings. Something is happening at CC Hub. Go, at least see someone there. Reach out to them that, okay, the next time this is happening, I'd like to speak. If they reach out to you, fine. If they don't, just keep going, go somewhere else. At some point, you will get an invite. So I now actively took his advice. And then, but you know me, I don't, physical presence doesn't really, online presence. So I went online and I was looking for different meetups, and I found that GDG Aja was doing their first. I'd already attended GDG Lagos, their first at the time, and I'm like, okay, this thing doesn't really seem so bad. Attended GDG Lagos, attended a few sessions, and then started checking shots. So I saw that GDG Aja was doing their first. So I reached out, hi Sam, how's it going? I'd like to speak at your community event or whatever. And it's great, we don't have a female speaker. We're trying to get to have more female speakers. It'd be nice to have you on board. So I'm okay, I want to talk about Android stuff, because that's what I'm currently actively learning. And he's like, cool. So I did the first one, and apparently, based on feedback from the audience, because I didn't even know what I was doing up there, I was just doing something. I'm like, last, everybody will laugh at me, and I will go to my house and cover my face. It will be okay. But apparently, there was something about me that everyone liked, and then I did the Ikorodu one as well. I remember that day. I still spoke on Android, I think Flutter. So I had that, and I just kept doing all these things. And at some point, I wasn't reaching out to people anymore. It was people were reaching out to me because of the lack of, well, not really lack, because I mean there are women out there as well, but there are not much female speakers as there are male speakers, or even women in tech generally. They're not as much as the men. So it was, so like sometimes I'll get reached out to, are you free this weekend? Could you do this for us? Then at some point I became a GDJ Ajak organizer as well, among some other communities, and then I kept writing regardless. And then I remember, I don't remember the month. I think it was May. I don't even remember. June. Nah, it couldn't have been June. I don't remember the month, Sha. But recently, my friend started her own YouTube channel, and I spoke to her about it. Like, I've opened this, because I opened like a Gmail, and then, I mean, when you open it, it's just like YouTube channel is born as well. So I'm like, I opened this new email in November 2018, and actually set up the channel, like put a picture and a description and everything. But the balls to actually post on the channel is not there, because I don't have like a fancy camera and all of that stuff. I just feel like it wouldn't be perfect. And she's like, man, do it. And like, we thank God for life and for growth as well, because I didn't see this happening in, what month are we in? We're in August. When we post this video, it will probably be in September. I don't even know when I'll post it. But I didn't see this happening in like 8 or 9 months. Like all these things, everything happened so fast between the space of 8 or 9 months, and it was just pretty ridiculous. Like I didn't see myself being this person. And then yes, also back to my job. Remember when I said I wasn't ready for Microsoft because I wasn't ready to move or anything like that? Early February 5th or something like that, I got reached out to me. Microsoft is hiring in Lagos. I'm like, wow, okay, that's great. Microsoft is hiring in Lagos. I think you'd be a very good fit for the role. And we want you to come and do the interviews. And I'm like, okay, what am I doing with my life? Hello. So it was really scary. This was in February, and the interviews were in April. I did the first interview, which was a phone call, and I remember having faith. Like, I remember that, I'm not about to preach or anything like that, but I remember that when I did the first interview, after, I'm like, this first interview, how did it go? I don't know. I'm not even going to say it went well or it went badly. It's for the people that are grading me to decide. All I know is that I don't have shoes to wear for my in-person interviews. And my mother is like, let them call you back first. I'm like, no, there's no need. I'm going to order shoes now that I need to wear for this interview. Get the shoes. And then I ordered the shoes, and then the shoes would come the next day. And guess what? A few minutes before the shoes came, I got a phone call from the recruiter saying that my first assessment went well and they would like to go further with me. And I'm like, look at God. So, and then it was funny because immediately after that phone call, like 30 minutes later, I got a call that, oh, your shoes are here. And I'm like, I mean, what are we talking about? So I got the shoes. My interview was slated for, I think, 2 weeks after that day. I don't even really remember. Then went for the next interviews, yeah, and then it finished. I had a couple of interviews that day. It was a long day. Actually told my CEO about it, and he was actually like really supportive about the whole thing, you know, giving me advice, praying with me, and all of that. I'm not going to say shout out, but yeah, so I finished everything, Shan, and I came back home, and this was on a Wednesday, and then Momsi was like, how did it go? I'm like, it went okay. And then after that interview, a week later, I got a call from the recruiter telling me, and sometimes, like, sometimes when people want to tell you that they don't need you anymore, they will commend you first, like, we thank you for your time. However, because she kept on commending me and commending me and commending me. In my head, I'm just like, oh, now this woman, tell me my no, let me go. Like, I'm tired. And then she's just like, however, congratulations, you'll be getting an offer from Microsoft. I just paused. And I'm like, sorry, I didn't hear the last thing that you said. And then she's like, oh, you'll be getting an offer from Microsoft. Oh. And I'm like, wow, okay, cool. I was trying to contain my excitement. And she's like, how do you feel? I'm like, I feel good. I feel excited. In my head, I wanted to explain to him. I wanted to wait for like my NYC to be done because I just wanted like a fresh start, if that made sense. And then that was it. And then that was, so I think I've told 2 stories in a way, and then they sort of are interconnected, is why I decided to tell the 2 stories together. I mean, the first one is like my entire journey into like this whole tech thing, and the second one is the story of getting into my first job post NYSC, which is this Microsoft job. So I'm currently a software engineer at Microsoft's Cognition Africa team, for the people that don't know. And I felt like I should tell this story because it might help someone somewhere, or it could motivate someone. And I mean, I just felt like it was a good story to share, and that's why I've done that. I really appreciate you guys for staying till the end and watching this video. If you liked it, please make sure that you give it a thumbs up. Please make sure that you subscribe as well, and you turn on the notification bell so that the next time I post another video, you'd see it first and you watch it first. Thank you so much. Bye guys.